Strong female characters are in a sad state of affairs in 2021. Be it a result of feminist influences, misguided intentions, or simply a decline in overall writing quality, the modern strong female characters are ironically some of the weakest characters in living memory. This is probably unintentional, but I believe that these characters are actually disrespectful to women, because they completely miss the mark on the three major questions they're aiming towards, or at least they should be aiming towards. These questions being, what makes a strong character? What makes a female character? And finally, what makes a strong female character? In this video, I'll attempt to answer all three of these questions, as well as give you my personal take on who the strongest female character in film history actually is. I'll just put her right over here at the pinnacle, where she belongs. But in order to reach the pinnacle and fully understand exactly why she is the GOAT, we have to start at the bottom of the barrel, the lower tier. The strong female characters of the lower tier, SFCs for short, are here because they answer the three aforementioned questions incorrectly. The first question, what makes a strong character? The vast majority of the lower tier SFCs will answer something along the lines of physical strength, incredible power, and little to no weaknesses. Yeah, that last part is completely wrong. The strength of a character comes from her development, what she learns, how she changes, and how she deals with her own flaws. I know it sounds like a contradiction, but it's the truth. In order to be a strong character, you need to have flaws and weaknesses. Otherwise, you become uninteresting and unrelatable. A Mary Sue. Captain Marvel from the Marvel Cinematic Universe is a perfect example of this. As a character, she's flawless, already perfect, and immensely powerful. Her obstacles are almost entirely exterior and separate, such as other people holding her down, preventing her from reaching her full potential.
I've been fighting with one arm tied behind my back. But what happens when I'm finally set free?
That's just lame storytelling. It would have been much more interesting if her obstacles were interior, and she spent the rest of the film trying to overcome her innate flaws and weaknesses. But the writers seem to believe that giving a character weakness makes them weak characters, when in reality, the opposite is the case. And about the physical strength and the power, well, it's true that strong characters can also be strong in the classic sense of the word. It shouldn't be the main reason why they are strong. So if you see a strong female character whose main indicator of strength is her strength, then you know that there's a problem. Now, about the second question, what makes a female character? The lower tier SFCs will probably answer
vagina.
That's it. That's the only thing that's distinct between females and their male counterparts. What's between their legs? Now, if you want to solely base your identity as a female on your genitals, then go right ahead. But you'll be left with a shallow, blank slate of a character that feels wholly unnatural. This is just my humble opinion, but if you're writing a female character, why not give her some feminine traits? She can still kick ass if you so desire, but why not have her also be caring, nurturing, and empathetic? Why not write her to be warm, loving, and gentle? Why must she be, basically, a man without a penis? The lower tier SFCs are ostensibly just male characters with a female bodysuit. They're women by genetics only, and they exhibit far more masculine traits than feminine traits. It's ironic that these writers want to elevate women, but in doing so, they end up erasing all the wonderful and unique attributes that women bring to the world. They do it because they see these attributes as negatives. Instead of celebrating them, they condemn and suppress them. By doing so, they're effectively telling us that in order for women to become stronger, they need to be less like women and more like men. So, tell me, how can you trust these writers to write strong female characters when they see femininity as a source of weakness? Which brings me to the final question. What makes a strong female character? The answer from the lower tier is beating men or replacing men. This is a common trend with lower tier SFCs. They seem to derive value from fighting the patriarchy that surrounds them. Men are their adversaries. The more they swipe aside, the more fulfillment they feel. Nomi from the new James Bond film No Time to Die has nothing going for her as a character, save for the fact that she enjoys rubbing in Bond's face how much better than him she is. There's that word again, but it's ironic that in an attempt to make female characters more independent, they seem very dependent on how their male counterparts perceive their excellence. Either that, or they seek to replace men, remove them from their place, and fill it in their stead. This is honestly more of an issue with the writers than with the characters themselves. Rey from the Star Wars sequel trilogy, who also exhibits Mary Sue-like characteristics, is pretty much just a female Luke Skywalker. These are just the female Ghostbusters, these are just the female Ocean's 11. They're making a female version of Lord of the Flies now, and rumors have it that Phoebe Waller-Bridge's character will replace Indy in the new Indiana Jones movie.
That wasn't so bad, was it?
Either way, the answer to what makes a strong female character seems to be a mixture of the first two answers, namely, be a man, but better. Why better? Because I'm a woman.
The suit is literal perfection.
It will be. When it fits a woman.
This is the story of the lower tier strong female characters. This is a relatively new trend that is unfortunately gathering steam and is doing way more harm than good. Instead of empowering femininity, they erase it and replace it with masculinity. Instead of giving them compelling character traits, they make them perfect, and as a result, boring. And instead of complementing and working together with the opposite sex, they choose to wage war with it. This is a disservice. This is abhorrent, and it's wrong. So, what's the solution? Do the exact opposite. By the way, if you're still here and you like what you see, please hit the like button. It'll help me out, and I really appreciate it. Now back to the video. Finally, we can leave the cesspit of the lower tier and move up to the middle tier of strong female characters, which I like to call the male support characters. These are strong characters, they're very feminine characters, but their primary purpose is to support the male characters, who are the main focus of their stories. You know the saying, behind every successful man there's a great woman? These are the characters I'm talking about. They're usually portrayed as the male character's romantic love interest, or even the damsel in distress that the hero sets out to save. Now, I know that the damsel in distress is looked down upon as weak and pathetic, but I see it very differently. The dominant position in the culture right now is to tell women that they need to be independent. They need to leave the kitchen, so to speak, and conquer the world. Don't depend on no man, and don't let any man hold you down. Now, that's all well and good. If that's what you want, ladies, go right ahead. Sincerely, I mean it. Good luck. But by detaching women from men this much, you're missing one of the greatest and most beautiful things women can do in this world. Inspire great men. Now, if you're a weak character with zero personality and you fully depend on the man for your happiness and well-being, then I'm not talking about you. Sorry, Bella from Twilight. But I am talking about strong characters that give purpose to the male heroes, either by touching their heart and giving them a reason to act, or by needing to be rescued themselves. Superman has Lois Lane, Spider-Man has Mary Jane, and Iron Man has Pepper Potts. Do you honestly believe that these heroes would have been able to rise to the heights that they did if it weren't for these amazing women inspiring them, driving them, and pushing them towards greatness?
Go get him, Tiger.
I don't think so. The middle tier also has Marion Ravenwood from Raiders of the Lost Ark, Holly McClane from Die Hard, and Elizabeth Swann from the Pirates of the Caribbean movies. They're all strong characters in their own right, they can hold their own, but they're also very much women. They support the male heroes and allow them to be the best people they can be. So please, join me and let's show some love to the damsels in distress. Let's celebrate these women, embrace them, and treat them with the respect they deserve. Because without them, great men would be needles in haystacks, and the world would be a much worse place. And now, we reach the upper tier, strong female characters par excellence. I'm talking about your Ripleys, your Sarah Connors, your Beatrix Kiddos. Now, on the surface, they don't seem to be too different from the lower tier SFCs. They're also strong physically, they're good in a fight, and they can kick your ass, so what's the difference? Well, the difference is that this isn't what makes them strong. It's everything else. They can kick ass, sure, but the reason they're strong characters is that they have flaws they have to deal with. They have their own personal demons. They show moments of weakness. They even get bested sometimes. They're not perfect. This allows for a compelling viewing experience. It makes them more relatable, and you root for them all the way. You want to see them beat the monsters, the robots, and the assassins, but you also want to see them triumph over their inner turmoil. Another element that differentiates them from the lower tier is that they don't attempt to constantly bash men. If they did, that would make them look really insecure and pathetic. Instead, they actually rely on other men and don't actively seek to replace them. And of course, that doesn't take away from their own personal competence. With that being said though, Ripley probably wouldn't go far without the Marine Force helping her out. Sarah Connor has the Terminator to back her up, and the Bride learned the martial arts technique that finally killed Bill from an old Asian monk. Remember kids, don't be ashamed to ask for help, it doesn't make you weaker. Finally, and most importantly, I'd like to discuss the one major reason why the women of the upper tier are the true strong female characters. It's something that I haven't seen almost anyone talk about, but for me it's the single most important thing. It's the biggest element that differentiates between women and men, and the upper tier SFCs embrace it to its fullest, while you barely see any of the lower tier SFCs even touch on it. What is it, you ask? Let me tell you. They are mothers. The greatest, most fulfilling, and most important job a woman can do. The upper tier SFCs are here because they take being mothers to the extreme. They are the badass moms. While true male heroes will do whatever it takes to protect their women, true female heroes will do whatever it takes to protect their children. And the true strong female characters do just that. Their actions make them heroes, but their sons and daughters are the reasons why they act. It's because of Newt that Ripley goes down to the alien queen's hive and tries to save her from the,
Get away from her, you bitch!
Sarah Connor has to face killer robots from the future in order to protect the savior of humanity, who also happens to be her son. And the Bride from Kill Bill, after believing she lost her unborn child, goes on a bloody, rampaging quest for revenge. But at the end, when she finds out her daughter is alive, she breaks down at the prospect of having a happy ending after all. Being mothers that will do anything for their children is, to me, the number one reason why they are indeed strong female characters. Which brings me to what we've all been waiting for. In this video, we talked about superheroes, chosen ones, secret agents, feisty women, fiery women, soldiers, protectors, and of course, mothers. But would you believe it if I told you that the strongest of them all, the strongest female character in film history, is a little mouse?
May I present Mrs. Jonathan Brisby?
Yes, in my opinion, Mrs. Brisby from the animated movie The Secret of Nim is the strongest of the strong female characters. She's a loving and caring mother who sets out on a long and perilous journey in order to save her dying son. She faces a harsh, uninviting, and dangerous world filled with killer cats, scary spiders, mighty owls, and cunning rats. And despite all that, despite being way out of her element, despite being small, weak, and fragile, despite being scared out of her mind, she's still able to find the courage to keep going.
Timothy. Remember Timothy.
Throughout her journey, she's assisted by other male characters, but she also inspires them through her kindness and tenderness. And at the very end, she's able to save her family against all the odds thanks to her pure and courageous heart. And a little bit of magic. Such a wonderful and endearing story, with a great, strong female character at the heart of it. Mrs. Brisby proves that you can face your fears even if you're scared, that you can show strength even if you're vulnerable, and that you can act and do the right thing even if you're not sure you'll succeed. Mrs. Brisby shows to everybody, males and females alike, that there's greatness within all of us, but she does so in a uniquely, admirably feminine way. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is why, in my opinion, Mrs. Brisby is the strongest female character in film history. Let's hope that we see more inspiring characters like her in the near future. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please subscribe to my channel and check out my other content right here. Thanks again, and have a good one.